Welcome to the very first episode of Dying to Talk, where we have real, raw, and necessary conversations about grief, loss, and everything in between. I'm your host, Letitia, and today we're diving into one of those stages of grief shock. I'm sitting down with someone who has built a life that so many people admire, but behind her strength, her success, and her journey, there's a story that needs to be told. And the time is now. I know her as Michelle Pitt, and many of you know her as Give 'em Hell Shell. Michelle's a fearless travel and credit coach, a mother, and a woman who left her corporate IT career to pursue freedom. But 6 months ago, her world stopped. On September 21st, 2024, Michelle lost the love of her life, Mucci. And today I'm honored that she'll be opening up about what really happened that day. But before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor Mucci. I'm lighting this candle in his memory, and I invite everyone listening, whether you knew him personally or not, take a deep breath, hold space for him, and send love to Michelle as she shares her heart with us today. Let's pause for a moment of silence. Michelle, first, I just want to say thank you. I know this isn't easy. I know there are things you probably kept in your head that your heart wasn't sure if you were ready to say out loud. But this is a safe space, and I want you to know that whatever you need to tell your story today, I'm here for you, and so is everyone listening. How are you feeling?
Today I'm feeling okay. Most days, my mornings are insane. Like you said, I'm a mom, so I'm waking up, getting the kids ready. I try to get myself up first because I have to like process that. Wow, this is like reality, right? So that has been my life. I stay busy, right? I don't know how healthy that is, but it keeps my mind moving constantly. So typically, my days start out with a very dramatic morning. I get through the day and then very dramatic night. So right now in this moment, I'm okay, a little nervous because I haven't, opened up publicly outside of, when it first happened, but this will be like my first kind of discussion deep on what's going on.
Well, I thank you again for being here. And before we talk about that day, I want to start off with something beautiful. Tell me about Mucci and who he was to you.
Okay. So I met Mucci I met him online actually on Instagram. He was like sliding in my DMs, right? And he just kept on sending messages and I saw them. But they were going over to like that little folder, the request folder. I eventually saw them and I was like, nope, not doing it. I am on a straight path forward in life. And we had a mutual
Mhm.
friend. And so the mutual friend called me one day and he was on FaceTime and he like flipped the camera around and Mucci was right there, like in the car. And I'm just looking like, hey. And he's like, I know you've been getting my messages. And we kind of like hit it off from that like short conversation. And so I opened the messages, we kind of exchanged back and forth. And very slow rev up, right? Because I was single girl, living my life, not really interested in moving in that direction. But we slowly, hit it off. And that was my baby. I mean, I could go on and on, but he was like my best friend. We did everything together. We traveled together. Again, I know we'll get deeper in, but surface level, my partner in crime, literally.
What's something about him that people didn't know? Maybe like a little laugh, a quirk, or just a way that he showed that he was Mucci.
Average person like who doesn't know him, he's like a very serious guy, like very like straight up, and it's like very black and white with him. Like he's gonna shoot it straight with you. So tough skin is necessary. But he was a teddy bear. Like he was very soft behind closed doors. He was um totally different person, right? Very goofy. From day one, I was myself, right? And if people who know me know, like Michelle is she's a hot mess, right? So, and a hot mess meaning like I am going to shoot the crap with you. Like I am a people's person. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to joke, and I got to be just that from day one. And he was the exact same. So typical surface level view of him is totally different from reality with him. Um, so yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And if you had to close your eyes and think of a great memory, what would that be?
One of my favorite memories with him, we went skydiving for my 30th birthday. And I've always had these like obnoxious bucket list items that I needed to check off, right? And so we spent a lot of we were able to check off quite a few of those things, but this one in particular, he's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that. That's just not happening. Like we just no." And so I was like, "We are." The tickets, somebody gifted us the tickets, right? A friend of mine, she was like, go skydiving. I got y'all 2 tickets. It's already scheduled. All you have to do is show up with your ID and whatever. So I was like, we're already doing it. It's already paid for. So you have to. And so he's like, we're driving down to Baltimore or up to Baltimore. And he's like, I cannot believe you got me about to jump out of a plane. Are you okay? And I'm like, I am. And so we were good. Everything was, we were good all the way down the road. And we got there, and he again, very fearless man, very straight up and down. He was quiet as a mouse. And I posted it online the other day, and I mean, I had so many responses of people who were just reacting to like his facial expressions and everything. I mean, top tier comedy. And it's literally one of my favorite memories because I know how terrified he was, but I was able to get him to do so many different things, like so many different activities, and just to have such a short time, in my opinion. It was such a short run for us. We got to do a lot. We got to do a lot. But that probably is one of my favorite memories.
And if you don't mind, how long were you guys together? You said such a short time. How long were you guys together?
So he initially messaged me in 2019. I ignored it all the way until I want to say like early March 2020. So we officially connected during the pandemic. And our first date was to Tropical Smoothie Cafe in a car, right? Because everything was closed down. We couldn't do anything. And you're not coming to my house, okay? so we went to Tropical Smoothie Cafe, and we had the best time. It was the best date. And I ordered my favorite, my little sandwich and my smoothie, and we sat there for hours. We sat there for hours. And yeah, so I mean, this year would have been 5 years. We celebrate every April. Because that's like when we officially were like, okay, you're just not going anywhere. So this is what it is. April is that date that we mark as our yearly anniversary kind of thing. And so yeah, it would have been 5 years this year.
So I want to be mindful of your heart, and I'm going to let you guide this. But when you feel ready, I want you to take me back to September 21st, 2024, before you received the phone call.
Before I received the phone call, I was on a cruise. My nephew's birthday is September 21st. So we were on a cruise for his birthday for the weekend. And I didn't have service. I did not have service, and I had paid for the Wi-Fi, so I was like pissed. And I knew that he was probably like texting and probably trying to FaceTime. But I didn't have service. I actually fallen asleep. My sister came and knocked on my door, and we went up on the deck. We sat at the bar, and I said to her, I was like, wow. Or she said to me, whoever said it to the other. She said, I don't know when is the last time you and I have been together, just us, no kids, in just a peaceful space. And I was like, I know, right? That is it. Just we both had our drinks, and we were just getting a moment to be together as sisters, right? Because we have our own lives. And I remember powering my phone off and powering it back on in hopes that the Wi-Fi would like reset. And within like 2 minutes of me powering it back on, I got a FaceTime call from a number, and I answered, and his friend was on the other line, on the other end, and he said, Mucci, Mucci just got shot. Mucci just got shot, and I was like, what? And he said it again. He was like, yeah, I just, I talked to whoever. They said he got shot. So I hung the phone up. I called. I'm blowing his phone up, and he's obviously not answering. And then maybe like the fifth call in, his uncle answers, and he's like, I'm like, where is he? Where is he? And he's like, he's okay. He got shot. He just got in the ambulance. The ambulance took him to the hospital, but he's fine. And I was like, okay. I think his cousin, I can't remember who, somebody took the phone and they were like, we'll keep you updated. He's fine. They took him, he just got shot in his leg. And I just remember being in like shock. But him dying never crossed my mind. Like it literally never crossed my mind when they say he got shot in his leg. I'm thinking like literally rolling my eyes like now I'm gonna have to play nurse when I get back home because he is going to be so dramatic about this. And like I never it just did not cross my mind that he might die. But I was completely shifted, like my mood, my vibe. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to the room. I'm going to go to sleep. I just can't. So in the meantime, I lose service again. So I don't even have a way to like contact to get any updates. At this point, it's like 1 a.m. I don't know what time it is, but whatever time it happened, it had just happened. And so I get back to the room. I'm just like tossing and turning all night, and we finally docked to the first stop. And I picked my phone up, and I had a text message from his mom, and she said that her baby was dead. That is what I read. That is what came through, in addition to all of his messages that he was trying to send me, all started immediately, like coming through, like, what you doing? I miss you so much. Like, just messages that he was trying to get through. Um, so that's how that played out. Um, I'm sure you can imagine, totally just in shock, devastated.
Did you share with her right away, or did you stay in the room for a while, or how did you process that being
So
in?
we were on, like I said, we were on vacation for my nephew's birthday. So all of the kids were there. My mom, my sister, my aunt. Um, and so I tried to, I kind of like just went in the bathroom just to like gather my thoughts, because I'm just so there's no life support, there's no chance maybe that, like, I'm just trying to process it. So I told my mom, and everybody kind of just took the kids and got them moving, so that I just didn't want to ruin their trip with this kind of news. And so I tried to just seclude myself from the group to keep it, just to keep everybody moving. But I did. I told everybody. Everybody was aware, and just kind of dampened the mood. It really just, I mean, it just ruined the trip. Because everybody's looking around like, whoa, like, what do you do? We're in the middle of the ocean, you know what I mean? So, and it's final, right? There is no chance of saving him, or like, he's been pronounced dead at this point. So, I had support there, thank goodness. But it was just unbelievable.
So I can imagine that stepping off the cruise ship once you guys made it back, now having to deal with reality, what that must have felt like walking into another world. What was it like coming home to a life where Mucci was no longer there?
Um, his closet still looks exactly the way he left it. So I sat in his closet just trying to process, like, the fact that he's really gone. Like, I just had the expectation that when I got back home, the laundry would be done. I don't know. I just could not believe it. I literally hyperventilated um when I got to his mom's house. I just I just literally just lost it. Like, I just can't. So I just looked around like, wow, how am I supposed to process this? Just totally just devastating. To come home, to leave one night and come home a few days later to a totally different life. So yeah.
I did see that you shared some snippets from his funeral, and I know that you were surrounded by people, and grief is still lonely. What was that day like for you?
Um, it was it was bad. I just to think that like he's laying here lifeless. I don't know if I don't even think it has processed all the way 6 months later. Um had a lot of support, a lot of his friends and family, obviously very loved. So I mean, a lot of people showed up and showed out for him. But it was like a room of silence for me. I'm just like looking out in a sea of faces, and I'm just like, wow. Um, and then my daughter, Melly, she is too. Um, she just loves that man. She loves him. And to see her totally clueless about like what's going on and not understanding that, like, hey, come here and just like give your dad a kiss because you're not going to see him again. So just trying to get through that. It was a lot, really bad.
I know you've expressed how much this has hurt you, and people still continue to see you show up, still traveling, still pushing forward. Have you had moments where you just wanted to disappear, or you're just tired of being the strong person?
Um, all the time, literally all the time. I just recently got some help with like getting my personal life back in order and back on track because I have been nonstop since September. So the kids and I will be starting our counseling, grief counseling, because I have felt like why, like how if I put so much good into if I put so much good into the world, like how is something so tragic and traumatic like even coming this way? Like how is that even a thing? Why? And I've I've questioned it, and I have to remind myself that like your faith matters. Like you have to stay the course. And I just remind myself, just keep telling myself like I have a bigger purpose. Something is to come from this. What, I don't know. But there have been many of days where I'm just like checked out. I'm like, I just, it's just the blows hit so hard. I lost my dad, it'll be 10 years to suicide. And so it's like the blows, they come and they come hard. And I just question like, did I do something that maybe I just don't realize how bad it was? Um, but I have to constantly remind myself and pull myself out of those like dark places. And I have, very supportive community of people who are, just constantly reminding me of, the, what I bring to the world. And so, you know, like I said, I'm being proactive and trying to get, well, now I guess it's not so much being proactive, but I'm getting us some help and trying to, make sure that the kids are healing in a way that's healthy. And, again, like I said, I don't know what I'm doing is healthy. It keeps a smile on my face in the daytime at least. But I think there is something deeper that needs to be tended to. So the course of action right now.
Yeah. And I think that the grief counseling, especially, with your other kids, is good. That's something I wish I would have done. I lost my father as well. And I just kept going, like just pushed it past, like, this is life, this is what's supposed to happen, and just kept it moving, not really processing it, and it just later, when I look back 2 years later, I probably gained like 50 pounds. I didn't realize what it was doing to me by me just trying to push it away, so that is something I end up later doing. So I think that's a good job, and never feel like anything is your fault. This is life. What keeps you going? Is it your kids, the reason why you still show up for life?
Um, that is literally what it is. When I lost my dad in 2015, um, I told myself, like, this is awful. Like, my kids are going to lose their mother because I'm going to die of a broken heart. And I was so young. I was 22. Um, and I was like, I, I just couldn't process it. But they were two also at the time, when he passed away. And now it's like a repeat. And so I'm just constantly reminding myself, like, if you could, if you did it once, you can do it again. Um, it is it's a totally different experience, to share a life with somebody every day, to wake up to somebody and go to sleep to somebody, and just literally share a space for this time. I mean, I don't know what is worse, honestly. Like, yeah, I think about the kids all the time. I'm like, if I don't do it, like, who is? Like, they were already lost. Melly won't even get a chance to experience life with her dad. So, like, can you imagine life without her mom too? Like, who is she gonna have? So I have to, like, make it work. I have to figure it out, and I have to, you know, unfortunately move forward, um, with life. It's just so hard to leave this space. I'm still stuck. So I'm figuring it out. But yes, it's the kids. It is my family. Um, I just feel like I have a community of people now who are looking to me, like, what would Michelle do in a situation like this, right? And they see it, and I know it's motivating, and I know it's inspiring because they send the messages, and now I feel like, okay, I can't stop now. So yeah.
And for anyone listening who has lost their person, spouse, father, mother, someone special to them, what is one thing that you would want them to know?
Um, One thing that I would say, that that I've said for the last 10 years, is, much as I despise it now, because I'll get there. But time is going to be your best friend. At one point, I literally thought I was going to die of a broken heart, um, when my dad passed away. And so, in August, I told Mucci, he also lost his brother, so his mom lost both of her sons. And so in August, I told him, I said, I know that we have struggled. We struggled through the relationship after his brother died. It put a hard strain on the relationship, right? Because he was depressed and he was just like battling so many emotions. And I was like, I know, it's been a time. I was like, but we're going to get through it. 10 years and I did not think that I would even be able to have a conversation about being okay with loss. And so I told him, I stood in the kitchen downstairs and I said, we're going to be okay. It's so much easier said than felt right now, but we are. And then to have to restart the whole process is insane. But I really believe, I have faith that God is going to heal my heart. And I think that anybody else who is like dealing with a loss or, you know, heartache or heartbreak from losing a special person, just pray and trust the process. It is a process. It took me 4 years to accept the fact that my dad was gone and I finally felt okay. So to restart this journey from scratch is insane. But I do have faith that time is gonna be my best friend. And that's what I would send out to anybody else who's dealing with it the way that I'm dealing with it.
Is there a scripture or a affirmation that you kind of recite maybe daily just to help you get through?
Um, there isn't, but just back to that, um, time. Time is gonna heal me. Time is gonna help me. And just reminding myself that I just have to get to through the day. If I can make it through the day, I have accomplished a major goal these days. That is like huge because I have literally just wanted to be like under a rock where nobody could find me. And I had to just take that away from my thought process, my vocabulary, and just remind myself like you have made it. You are in a new day. It's another second past that you're okay, right? And okay in a different way, right? Not the okay that I want to be, but I'm breathing. I'm here. It's a small win. So, um,
Mm.
yeah.
And I do. I'm just super excited for you, to be here to share your story. You're giving me strength, even the way you're showing up. I would show up, hair would look crazy, everything would just, you're so beautiful. So I do just want to thank you and make sure I tell you that as well. But before we wrap up, I want to give you the space to share where people can connect with you, follow your journey, and support the amazing things that you are doing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the compliment, right? Because I promise you, if you saw me an hour ago, you would like, who's that? So thank you. But I am across all networks. Give 'em Hell Shell, and it's GIVEMHELLCHELLE. That's on all platforms. I do plan to, I say it every month, I'm going to start documenting this more. So maybe this will be my little push to do that. But in the meantime, that is how you all can connect and stay up to date with what's going on. And hopefully, it's a lot of good new things coming out.
Thank you. And for everyone listening, I also want to encourage you guys to check out Mucci's YouTube channel and Michelle's video and continue to show love for his music. His legacy will live on. His voice is still here. So if you want to support, go stream his music, share it, and keep his name alive. And Michelle, can you tell the audience where they can follow him?
Yeah, his YouTube account is Mucci Sosa, MoocchieSosa, and it's also available on all streaming platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, all that good stuff.
Perfect. Michelle, again, I want to thank you for being so open, for sharing your journey, and mostly thank you for allowing us to honor Mucci today. Your story will help so many people who are struggling with grief, and your resilience is inspiring. And for the audience, if this episode resonated with you, make sure you like, subscribe, and share it. You can find resources, memorial keepsakes, and more at dyingtotalkpod.com. I'm your host, Letitia, and this has been Dying to Talk. Take care of your heart, and remember, it's okay to grieve and it's okay to heal. Bye bye.